Hey guys! So I finished Athena about 4 to 5 days ago, and I absolutely loved it. It's the best book in the Here's a Olympus series by far, in my opinion. So I decided to write this review about it, and I advise you not to watch this if you haven't read Athena, or you haven't finished it yet, because I wouldn't want to spoil it for you, and this does contain a lot of spoilers. And I know how it feels when a book's spoiled. It doesn't feel that good. Okay, so I have 12 questions I'm going to ask myself here. And the first one is my favorite character from Athena. And I have to say, for me, it's a tie between Leo Valdez and Annabeth Chase. I absolutely love Leo. I feel he's just so funny. He's had me hooked since The Lost Hero. Every time he says something, it's just so hilarious. I end up laughing out loud. Not even joking. But I just love how funny he is. But I feel bad for him because he is kind of like a seventh wheel out of the prophecy. I mean, Jason and Piper have each other. Annabeth and Percy have each other. And then there's Frank and Hazel. Leo's like the odd man out. He even says so himself that he feels more comfortable around machines than he does people. I mean, so like, while everyone else has each other, he's kind of like with their ego too and infests his head. So you kind of gotta feel bad for him. Okay, then I like Annabeth. I mean, we've been with her since the first book, The Lightning Thief. And she's just so brave and intelligent and courageous. It's like, wow. She's like so strong and she can like figure any problem out no matter how hard it is. And like, I admire her for that. And when she went off on her solo quest to follow the murder of Athena, oh my god, she was just so awesome. I mean, could you imagine doing that with a broken ankle? She had a broken ankle, for crying out loud, and she still went on to fight Arachne. She didn't like fight, she tricked her. It's just plain brilliant. Plain brilliant. Kudos to Annabeth for figuring that out. That was amazing. And I just feel she's so brave. I just love her. Okay, so second question is my favorite ship. Why did I even write that down? I'm pretty sure everyone knows who the favorite ship is. It's obviously everyone loves Percy and Annabeth. Percabeth forever. I ship Percabeth so hard. They are so good together. They're like made for each other. They've known each other since they're 12. I mean, they're like peanut butter and jelly, for crying out loud. They're made for each other. I mean, some people say Percy and Rachel. Not a lot of people say that. And I admit, when we first met Rachel, like when we first found out she'd see the mist, I kind of thought she would be cute with Percy, but now, no way possible. Percy and Annabeth made for each other, end of story. Okay, so number 3, my least favorite character from Athena, another no-brainer, Octavian. Oh my god, I freaking hate him. I feel like I just want to chop his head off sometimes. I hate him. Like, instead of like talking to them about what happened when Leo blew up Camp Jupiter, but he was possessed. He was possessed, for crying out loud, by Elidions. I don't know how to pronounce that, so that's how I say it. I mean, so now Octavian has to rally up the Romans to go try to block off the Seventh's path to try to destroy them to get revenge, and then they get to march on the Camp Half-Blood. I mean, really? That's getting too far, I think. I mean, we have a mission. We have to stop Gia first. That's my opinion. Stop Gia, destroy each other later, okay? And, like, we need the Romans. It says foes bear arms, so I'll talk about that later, because I have another prediction for that. But really, you have to get straight to violence. You can't talk it out like a normal person, Octavian. Really, just go kill some teddy bears. Just leave the Greeks alone. Really, I just hate Octavian. Okay, scene 4 is my favorite scene from the book. Okay, I have a lot of favorite scenes, but I just loved when Annabeth and Hazel were running from the Romans, and Octavian and a few other Romans stopped them, and Octavian tells them to put the weapons down. So Annabeth plays blonde and throws her dagger into the lake, and Octavian's like, "What'd you do that for?" I told you to put it down, not throw it in the lake. And she just starts laughing, and all of a sudden, these waves come and wash the Romans away, and Percy pops up and goes, "You dropped this," holding up the dagger like a blank face. I started laughing so hard. I just loved that. It's like Wow. That's amazing. Okay, so my fifth question is my least favorite scene. I don't know about you guys, but I love Nico. I honestly do. And whenever we found out that he was captured by the giants, I died. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? Another of my favorite characters isn't even, this boss is dead, being captured in a jar. And like, oh really? Really? I just couldn't live then. Like, I slammed my head against my pillow a few dozen times. Oh my god. Okay, so I just hated that scene. That's about you guys. Next question. Okay, 6. Best Percy-Beth moment. Okay, I think the best Percy-Beth moment is when they're on the Ergo 2 and Annabeth wakes Percy up and they both go down on the deck and they start talking. They're talking about like the prophecies and all that. And they just put it off and like kind of just like sit there in silence and they fall asleep. And I found it funny how everyone thought that they were kidnapped. They're all freaking out. Then Frank comes down and goes, "Ooh, you're in trouble." And then they get yelled at by Coach Hedge like they're little kids. I love that. That was so cute. I'm like, wow. That was amazing. Amazing. I loved it. Loved it. Best Percy-Beth scene in the book. Love it. 7. Best Draper moment. Jason and Piper, I love them together. I know they have a lot of haters, and everyone says Jason should be with Raina, but no. No, no, no. Jason and Piper, meant to be together. End of story. I mean, really? But anyway, the best Draper moment, I think, is when, after Leo blew up Camp Jupiter, he was possessed. Keep that in mind. That's not the Leo we all know and love. And when the Seven's fighting the Roman camp, and they're like greatly outnumbered, Jason fights with the Seven and fights against this camp. And he takes a rock to save Piper. He takes a rock to his head. I'm like, oh my god, that would take loyalty. Not only to take a rock for your girlfriend, but I mean, really, he's fighting against his camp. He's fighting against his home, his family, his friends. I'm not even sure if I could do that. I mean, but really, he's giving up like everything that used to matter to him. And I just felt like Draper scenes were strong there. With that rock. But, okay, next question. Lazel or Frazel? Frazel, all the way. Frank and Hazel meant to be together. Think about it. They're both outcasts at Camp Jupiter. And they're like meant to be together. They trust each other so well. Frank was willing to put his life in Hazel's hands. Literally. He gave her the freaking fireword that kept him alive. You know how much trust he had to put into someone to do that? They're meant to be together. A lot of people say Lazel, Leo, and Hazel. But no. They need to just stay in the friend zone. Friend zone is where they should be. Nothing more, nothing less. Friends is perfect right now. Frank and Hazel, they were meant for each other. They were meant to each other, just like Percy and Annabeth were. And Jason and Piper. So, that's my opinion on that. Number 9, Nico D'Angelo. As I said, I love him. He's not my favorite character, but he's probably a good 3rd or 4th. And I just love him. I love how mysterious he can be, but then he can be funny at the same time. I just love him. And like, when we first met him, he was just another little kid who loved his card games. But he grows up so fast, and it's like, wow, I have to keep reminding myself he's not an adult. Because that's just the way he acts. He acts like he's older than he really is. It's like, wow. I just love him. I couldn't stand when he was captured, but I felt so happy when they rescued him. I'm like, yay! Okay, and then number 10, what's with that ending? I have no clue. I felt like my heart was ripped out of my body. They fell off the cliff into Tartarus. That's how I pronounce it. Some people say Tartarus. I say Tartarus. But really, come on. Don't you think Percy and Annabeth had enough? Come on. They were separated for 2 years. Not 2 years. Close to like 8 months around there. Come on. We've waited for this Percy-Beth reunion. We got it. And now they're in Tartarus. Come on. Really? Like, they're talking. And Percy's trying to keep them both up. And he knows it's hopeless. And so does Annabeth. And she goes, Percy, just let me go. You can't hold us both. And he looks down on her and says, "We're staying together. I'm not losing you. Never again." Oh my god, I had tears coming to my eyes. And then I just lost it when Annabeth goes, "As long as we're together." I'm like, no, why? What, why? It's like, I feel like, wow. I started screaming at the book, and I started crying, and I was a mess after I finished Milk of Athena like that. Oh, I'll never do it wait another year if I know what happened to them. And so, like, I'm just gonna stop talking about it. It's, like, painful even now. I finished this book 3 or 4 days ago. Come on. 4 to 5, maybe? Okay. 2 more questions. Hang in there. Okay, Prophecy of the 7. Okay, I was gonna talk about this for a few minutes, for a minute or two. Prophecy of the 7. First line, 7 half-blood answer the call. Everyone knows that. It's obviously Leo, Piper, Jason, Percy, Annabeth, and not Jason, but Frank and Hazel. They're obviously the 7. And then the storm of fire, the one must fall. Storm, Percy, or Jason, it's obvious. And then Leo's hands down fire. Who else can summon fire with a click of the hand? Come on, Leo's just that awesome. An oath to keep with the final breath. Okay. For me personally, I think it's Nika's promise to Percy when he promised that he'd lead them to the other side of the door so they can close it. That's a pretty big promise if you think about it, because if he fails, they can be the terrorists, never come back out a while. So that's kind of a big part of it, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Because, I died trying to keep that promise. Kind of let down. Then foes bear arms at the doors of death. It could be the Greeks and Romans, and it probably is. But if it's not, I have, another thing it could be. I think it might be Percy and Nico. Because if you think about it, they do have sort of a tension between them. And the last Olympian, I think it was last Olympian, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but just don't freak out. Nico leads Percy to Hades, and Percy ends up getting captured in a cell by Hades. Said Nico committed the child of the prophecy. And then, when it's on Neptune, Nico doesn't even tell Percy who he is. Percy's like, "Oh, I know you." Nico's like, "Really? You do?" I started screaming. I'm like, "Really? Why? Just tell him. Help the poor guy out. He's lost his memory. Come on. Really?" But I know they're not foes. I know they're friends. They made up after Bianca's death. Come on. Don't you think it's possible? If it's not the Greeks and Romans, that could be a possibility. Anyone else think so? Okay, so the last question, I promise will be quick. No, I've been talking for a while, but I'm just that type of fangirl. House of Hades predictions. And Mark of Athena, he mentioned that one of them might have to stay behind. And oh my god, I swear if that happens, I will die. I will be a mess for weeks. And I just hope it doesn't happen. I think it'll be focused on everyone's point of view, and I really hope they focus a lot on what's happening in Tartarus. That's going to be a big part of the book, And they probably focus on I hope they focus on what's going back at Camp Half-Blood too. Because I want to know what's happening back there. What's going on with the fight, and what else is happening. So, that's my prediction for House of Hades. And guess what this means? It's time for this review to end. Okay, so please leave comments, like it up. And this wasn't the best review. This is my first one. And so just leave comments what I should do better. And if you agree with my opinions and all that, leave yours too. So, see you Jackson Heads.